When you are.
Awesome. I would like to welcome everyone to the regular school committee meeting here on January the 10th. I would call the meeting to order and ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ask that we have a moment of silence for certainly those of our neighbors within Rhode Island that have been displaced in this last 24 hours with the storm, and then those around the world. We pray for peace. Please bow your head and open your heart. Thank you. I will ask if there is any items from the consent agenda that any members would like removed for discussion. If not, I ask that we have a motion to approve items 2.1 through 2.5 in the consent agenda for vote. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a second. Beautiful. We will vote via roll call. Jennifer?
Travis Audi,
Aye.
Megan Gonzalez,
Aye.
Susan Kinane,
Aye.
Mike Rocha.
Aye.
Excellent. We are on to public input agenda items and agendas. I believe sheet's right behind, but I believe Lori was the only one that signed in. Would you like to make your comment? Please state your name. Yeah, yes, stand, please, absolutely.
Laurie Darty, 15. My only comment or future topic would be just the crisis response. We had a situation a couple weeks ago, and I just think that that's something that I did speak with Principal McKinnon and Superintendent Laurie, and and we did talk about some things, and I think something that you said could be brought up at a meeting. So just, that's it.
Thank you. Sean, I know it's not an agenda item, but is there, if Lori and Jack would like to elaborate on, if they can, I'm not sure what the rules and regs are on this.
Yeah, unfortunately, due to the nature of the incident and the fact that it is very easily identifiable what we're talking about, it's very difficult for the school department to discuss these issues when we're talking about a particular issue in detail, and not run afoul of privacy rights. It may seem tedious given the fact that perhaps it is a well-known incident, but nevertheless, we have a responsibility under federal law, Chair, to maintain the privacy rights of each and every student. So it's difficult for the administration to speak on these issues, and it's certainly difficult for the school committee to speak on these issues. Certainly there are legitimate concerns raised by the community. I think that the administration could take the request back, and if we can find a way to discuss certain things, then on a future agenda meaning we can have a discussion and put that on the agenda, but we would need to do further analysis before we do that. But certainly we hear the request tonight.
Absolutely.
And
Superintendent, please.
may I speak? And that is something that I can bring to one of our teams here. I think it's best discussed there. But I thank you so much for that, being in conversation with you. That is an issue in a small district, but it's one that we will address.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Lori, and thank you for everyone working towards communication when these types of things arise. Is there no more public comment? Excellent. That being said, we will move into item 4, winter activities at Wilbur McNair, spotlight on excellence. Mr. Principal.
Thank you, Chairperson Audi. Couple of things. First of all, our athletic season has started off last Friday. Our boys and girls team traveled to Block Island. And unlike last year's Block Island trip, I'm happy to say that nobody got seasick on the ride over. Mixed results over there, but they had a great time. If you look at that girls' picture as they're getting ready to get on the ferry, it almost looks like a summer day, but it's probably 24 degrees at the time. Next slide. December 28th, our squads were invited to the University of Rhode Island to play at the halftime of the University of Rhode Island versus Harvard Crimson women's game. We saw a fantastic game. I think it was, I think a lot of our athletes got to see, what it takes to certainly play at that level. And at halftime, they also had the opportunity to play on center court at the Ryan Center, which was a great thrill. Tomorrow, we have the New Bedford Symphony Orchestra, who's going to be showing up here and working with our grades 3 and 4 on a program called Adaptations in Motion, Animals in Music. And basically what it talks about is how animals move, and they have accompanying music with that. And that'll be taking place in the morning in our commons area. Our First Tech students who have been working really since middle end of September, 2 days a week for 2 hours at a pop. They will be traveling to Mount St. Charles Academy in Woonsocket on January 27th for the First Tech Challenge. We are one of only, I'd say 1 or 2 middle schools. I think last year we're the only middle school who competed at New England Institute of Technology. There may be another middle school team preparing as well. Our kids had a semi-scrimmage at North Kingstown High School in early December and actually performed very well. So we're looking forward to some great results there. Our 8th grade students are preparing for the Science and Engineering Fair. That is taking place on January 17th. I believe that's next Thursday. The fair itself will be taking place, the judging will be taking place from 3 to 5 o'clock in the evening, and from 5 to 6, there will be a viewing for the public. So you're more than welcome to come by during that time. They have been putting, a yeoman's work into preparing for the Science and Engineering Fair. Some of our students the last few years have gone on to great things at the state science fair. So we're looking forward to seeing some great projects on Wednesday of next week. Our food composting, I know I bring this up almost every school committee. There's been some disruption to it. We were waiting for a company called Black Earth, which would pick up our food compost from the cafeteria. They are finally on board with us. We were waiting for them. They were kind of waiting to get some sort of attachment to the Westport, Tiverton, Little Compton area. They're finally in the area. So they will be starting with us very soon. We will be recycling our food. A little glitch to the whole problem, kind of a subcontractor of Clean Ocean Access. If you remember, they were the company that was really going to kind of educate us in food composting. Unfortunately, that program, Clean Ocean Access, has dissolved as of last week. So they're no longer with us. A little disappointed, but Miss McLean and Michael Ayotte have kind of taken up the task. We're hoping to introduce it to our kids, hopefully by the end of January. The cafeteria, for the most part, is ready to go, and we're looking forward to this important program. And finally, our grade 2 students next Friday will be performing a musical for parents and grandparents. The program is called Adventure Away. The program starts at 2:15 in the afternoon, and it's open to parents and grandparents. I think taking place in the gymnasium if it's up and running. If not, it'll be the commons area. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Thank you, Principal McKinnon. Moving on to item 5, the superintendent report. Superintendent Lori.
There's a lot to report, but I'll keep it brief for those who are traveling across the Washington Bridge, so that they can get home to their loved ones. First of all, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and supporting our wonderful village school. Last Thursday, I participated in Commissioner Infante Green's school district accountability preview session. I learned that our school is one of just about 8% of the schools in the state, about 310, that earned a 5-star rating. The McMahon School has always earned a 3-star rating ever since the accountability metric was rolled out as part of a federal law, Every Student Succeeds Act. And this school is the only school that made the leap from 3 stars to 5 stars. And 23 schools out of 310 schools have a 5-star rating from the Department of Ed. They hold us accountable in so many different data areas. And I'm going to take you through a few of them right now up on the screen. So if you see right there, we're in the public portal where everyone can access the report cards for every single district and school in the state of Rhode Island. And this is a federal mandate. Every state must publish performance measures, performance data for every school, every public school district and school community. So this is a national directive and a state mandate. And we've always been in that 3-star category. A year ago, Principal McKinnon and I did invite 2 members of the Department of Education student support, school support crew to come down to our small corner of the state and take us through this complex metric. Even though we're very good at statistics, we're not actuaries. And so it is pretty complex. And I'll show you some of the intricacies of the metric in one of the slides coming up. And they told us, and they had all of our data. They had our student achievement data, our student disciplinary data, all anonymized, our student growth data, our absenteeism data for faculty and staff. And they told us where we could move the needle and gave us some really good advice. And we enacted it, and here we are. We've gone from 3 to 5 stars. So I want to give a shout out to Scott Gosland of the Rhode Island Department of Education and Mike Manchieri of the Rhode Island Department of Education. And I'm not sure that either one of them had ever been down here before. So they spent time with me and Mr. McKinnon, a good hour and a half?
Yeah.
And told us what we needed to do. And how to support our students, our families, and our staff in going from good to great, because we had everything that a district needed to do so. We did do it, and I have to give the teachers, the families, the students, and Principal McKinnon so much credit. This was an enormous undertaking and leap. And of course, now we have to maintain it.
Yes.
So we will be victims of the success of this beautiful village school. So we have, we're top in the state, our aggregate data for ELA achievement, science achievement, and number 6 in the state for math. This little school was always good. It is now, according to RIDE, one of the top in the state. And the town support, the support in this room and beyond is everything when it comes to moving a small educational enterprise, because the power of small numbers needs big attention, and every student counts, and every student succeeds here. And now we have a lot to live up to. So Jonathan, could you go to achievement in ELA? Thank you. And it's a point system, and we got 3 out of 4 points towards that 5-star rating in this area. And we know we need to do better there. We need to get, above 75% proficiency for our kids. And we have everything in place to do that. Next, go to math. We have work to do here as well. And we definitely want to get those 4 points and stay at that 5-star level, because that is what the school deserves and this community has and support and expects at this point. And so do we. And next, go to science proficiency. There we did receive the maximum number of points, which is always good. So here we have a perfect score. Growth measures are also a part of this, something called student growth percentile. And if you go over to how is the growth index calculated, Jonathan, right at the bottom, okay, that's just one of the metrics that enter into the equation that lands at 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 stars. It's pretty complicated. And so all of that was sort of demystified for us last year. And we got a crash course in, just how to support kids, support students, and support our staff in knocking it out of the park. And boy, did they. Thank you. Yeah, and then math growth, we lost a point there, so we know what we have to do. And we have everything in place to maintain a 2, but we definitely want to go up to 3, and we want to guarantee a 5-star rating from here on in. It's on. Okay, some of those, it'll say that it does not, some of them are, high schools, graduation rates, etc. Regarding student chronic absenteeism, we've never received 3 out of 3. We've always been penalized for student absenteeism. And I thank the families, the parents and caretakers who have, make sure their kids are ready and on time to learn every day. We ask you send your kids to school less than half the days of a calendar year. And we need them, for those days. And if you start multiplying days out by the 6 hours, if you get to 10 absences, your child has missed 60 hours of instructional time that can never really be made up. So there is a corollary between student absenteeism and higher achievement. So the lower the absenteeism rate is, the higher the achievement. The higher the absenteeism rate is, the lower the student achievement is. And that just makes sense. They're not in their seats. Well, here, not so much seats, but because we do a lot of active learning too. But they're missing out on a lot of instruction. And so every district has struggled with student absenteeism before, during, and post-pandemic. And for the first time ever, we have our 3 stars and 3 points there, and we are pretty happy about that. The next metric, let's see, is teacher absenteeism, I believe. Yeah. And you get 2 out of 3 there, and we know the story behind the data. Data doesn't tell the whole story, and so we know that we have some work to do there. And then also suspension, out of school suspension, that's another component of the metric. And we have, we're such a small nurturing school that it's very rare that a student is suspended out of school. That would have to be something egregious. And our students are known. Each one of them is known by his, her, or their teachers. So that in itself, that nurturing environment, that environment that notices, that staves off a lot of tricky behaviors. And so our discipline data is underwhelming, and that is a good thing when that data is underwhelming. Exceeds expectations. We did really well there. We got 3 out of 3 points for ELA. And math, like everyone else, that is an area of growth for us. And so we know what we have to do to move the needle there. And that is a very quick overview of the math behind the 5-star rating. And is our data perfect? No, we lost some points, but we're still in that 5-star range. Go to that. The first slide where we have the bright stars. Nope. I think you're going to go back to get that arrow up there. There we go. Thank you, Jonathan, so much. Yep. Maybe overview, click on overview, if you will.
That is over.
Okay. Right. The one that comes up when you first plug it in, so you might have to go back up
I think that's all we get.
to the drop down. Oh, okay. Are you in the portal or on the public?
The public side.
Okay. All right, that's fine. That sounds pretty. But so here we are. Wilbraham School earned a 5-star rating for the first time since the accountability process has been put into place. Since that 2015 federal law, Every Student Succeeds Act. We operate in schools full transparency. Everything we do is up there, good, bad, and everything in between. We succeed in public, we fail in public. And we know that's just the reality of education. And we love these accountability measures. We love to be held to a high standard. And we love it even more when we are beating that bar, that high bar. And we are in student achievement and in school. But we still have areas of growth. That's obvious. And that's my good news for this month.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Darn.
Congratulations, students,
100%.
staff, and community.
I don't want to steal the thunder of any of the committee members. Does any committee members have any comments before I say a comment?
No, just excellent. I was really happy to see that.
Teachers are working hard.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how proud I am of the stakeholders in this building, the stakeholders in our community. You think back to COVID, when it was just chaotic for the entire state, and we navigated that, I thought, pretty well. And then came the next challenge of, the test scores are going to drop off, and we had a principal turnover, and how is this going to look? Well, our kids met the expectation back-to-back years. Our teachers have met the expectation in back-to-back years. Principal McKinnon and yourself have righted the ship and pulled everybody along. And to have this 5-star rating as a parent of a young child in the school that plans on seeing it all the way through, I couldn't be more proud of your efforts, proud of the teachers, proud of the students, proud of the families, and certainly proud of the support of the community. It wasn't long ago when we were talking about, are we going to get funded? So I thank the community. I thank for your belief in the administration, the teachers we have, the students that you raise at home and we turn over to our faculty here. And it's just, it's impressive. And you said a couple things, and I'm certainly going to harp on it. This is just the start. The bar has been raised.
Wow.
The expectations are high.
As they
They
should
will
be.
not go away. And I'm excited about that because I feel like everyone in this room that I've spoken about has met the expectation and risen to the occasion. And to be in a community like that where everyone lifts each other up, it's really awesome. And I'm incredibly proud of everybody that is involved. Thank you. Really, thank you.
It is a pleasure and an honor to serve the students, staff, and families and community of Little Compton.
It's fantastic. Lori, thank you so much. Mr. McNamee, this is a tough act to follow. We have the finance report from Mr. John McNamee.
Let me just refer to FY '23, which ended in June of this past year. The audit has substantially been complete. The town has received an extension for the Auditor General to submit the financial statements by the end of January. So January 31st is the deadline. I anticipate that they will meet that deadline. So we'll be able to have those reports available at the February meeting. I don't anticipate any adjustments to the numbers that I have presented at this point in time. So I think we're in pretty good shape in FY '23. In '24, as we've discussed in the past, I think we're pretty much on target revenue-wise to meet revenue goals. On the expense side, it does look like we may have some overages in our out-of-district tuitions. We saw an increase in the number of students that are attending the CTE programs at the Met at Newport County Career and Tech, and then we have a student also at Tiverton. And we've had a little bump in the students that are out of district, special education students. So we'll probably have a little bit of a deficit in out of district tuition. And that will more than likely lead to a deficit. I'm projecting right now that would be somewhere around $58,000 deficit for the year. But it's still a little early. I think we may have some ability to kind of catch up on some of those numbers. But at this point in time, things are looking pretty good for the budget.
Excellent. Go ahead, Michael.
So there's no more money coming from the collaborative that's been finalized?
No, so we did receive December, the final payment on the Medicaid receivable. So what happens is we record the revenue on that Medicaid money that they were reporting on our behalf.
Right.
So we recognized that revenue, and we had built up a receivable that was probably in the neighborhood of a couple $100,000. So we had gotten a chunk of that money last year, and then this year we got the remaining portion of $38,000 that we received. So now what we have is we've got some accumulated surplus for the 22 year at the collaborative and the 23 year, which we should have a distribution to us. I'm assuming probably, I don't know, probably at least hopefully by the end of June of 24. And as you know, in these financial statements, we have about 100,000 that we've recorded as a projected revenue for the current year. I think we would wind up beating that, all things being equal, based on the numbers that I've seen in the collaborative. So we do anticipate at least that 100,000 coming in.
So that will help to offset our projected deficit at this point.
Well, that 100 is, that 100 I've already
Accounted for.
accounted for. Now, if we go above that 100, which I think we may, that will help offset that deficit.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to look at that as we go into the budget year for FY25, so.
Right. Will you know about those numbers after the Auditor General?
Well, the town's audit's not gonna impact it. We've got we talked to the collaborative. Collaborative is gonna have an audit on their FY23 numbers, so I think they've already
Okay.
looked at contracting for that. So once that audit is complete, I'm assuming that a distribution would be forthcoming after that. There were a few outstanding liabilities that they were looking at, but those I think had been provided for in the financials. So I'm pretty confident that we'll see some funds coming out of that.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. McNamee. Item 7, committee reports. The policy subcommittee, Ms. Hannah is not with us. She is ill. But do we have any reports on the policy subcommittee? I don't believe you guys have met
The
since.
only update is that we're meeting on January 24th,
End of the month.
3:30.
3:30 p.m. Stay tuned for that, please. Item 7.2, Portsmouth School Committee Liaison Report. I have no report from this month, as I have not received an update from Ms. Heather Rhodes as to when the next meeting is. Was it last night? She usually emails me. Worst case scenario, I will watch the meeting and I will follow up next month, but I have nothing to report this month.
I think it was last night because we had our superintendent storm text and Tom led it.
I don't think it was. Heather usually
Yeah. So
cues me in, nonetheless. Item 7.3, Wellness Committee Liaison Report, Ms. Sue Kinane.
Nothing new to report, but we meet on January 25th. If anybody wants to come.
3 or 3:30?
3:30.
3:30. Excellent, thank you. Item 7.4, Town Recreation Committee Liaison Report, Mr. Michael Rocha.
The rec committee did not meet in the month of December, but we did receive the report from the engineering on the tennis courts.
Yes.
And they will be being discussed on our next meeting, which will be on January 29th. And the meetings have now been changed to the town council chambers. So we'll be meeting there instead of 32 Commons going forward. So we'll be discussing the different types of potential new surfaces and where we go with that. That'll take place at 6:30 on the 29th.
Thank you, Michael. 6:30 to 29. Finally, Contract Negotiation Subcommittee Report. We have not met since our first initial meeting, and I believe we will be meeting in February or?
Sure, I'll be meeting in February.
We have a date scheduled yet?
Not yet.
I think they're
Waiting to
driving.
hear back from.
Yeah, they're driving the bus on that.
Yep, they're driving the bus.
I haven't heard anything otherwise.
I haven't.
Excellent. Are no discussion items. Do I have any school committee members' requests for information from administration or legal counsel? I do not. Oh, you do? Oh, okay. And seeing that there is no other business on the agenda, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The motion carries. Thank you all for coming out tonight.